This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted for the first time to be joined by world champion and one of the flyest dressers I've ever seen, Sonny Edwards. Sonny, how's things? We'll start with that. How's things going for you?
Yeah, good. Can't complain. Had a good few conversations and little meetings tonight and this week. Hoping to try and nail a massive fight.
Talk to me. Every time I see you, I think world champion. No, we always seem to get a fight where it's nearly there and it doesn't happen. Whether it be Paul Butler, been talking about, Cesar Martinez, everyone else. Why is it that nobody's fighting you? Why have we not got a date where Sonny Edwards is defending his world title from the horse's mouth? Because we all want to know.
No, but we don't really get near much. I'll be perfectly real. We don't really get near much. You have me getting asked questions, me talking, me getting my promoter to maybe reach out, make offers, make lines of contact. And most of the time we don't even get a response. Most of the time we do not get a response. For the biggest card that's going to happen in this year, we tried to make a unification with the WBA champion, who I've sparred before, Gallagher. They didn't even reply to us. They didn't respond. Weeks and weeks later, they did not respond, and this was going to be on one of the biggest cards. Like, do you know what I mean?
The biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not get a response. My mandatory, he was number one. IBF was ready to send me a letter. You have to fight Ricardo Sandoval. He opted to fight the WBA route. He's not a mandatory.
Even though he was getting offered to fight for the belt. Straight.
He was next. He was next in line. I couldn't move until I found out what he was doing, right, as my mandatory. He opted to fight Norberto Jimenez, who's a good fighter, and then at the chance of beating him to then fight Gallagher for the WBA world title. So what we have right now is trying to make unification WBA. He didn't want it, and I have a lot of respect for him. He brought me over as a paid sparring partner, gave me great experience twice early in my career, so I've got a lot of respect for him. With the sunglasses and the flashy garms, I hope that's not lost. And I'm about 3 drinks in so far, do you know what I mean?
No, you're good.
I'm about 7. But in all seriousness, I hope the respect's not lost, because I genuinely do. But look at it from my perspective, I'm an IBF world champion. I dethroned the undethronable in Maruti. I've then tried to make the Martinez fight, held tooth and nail, not happened. Reached out because there was a chance that I could get a slot on the biggest card of the year, and never got a response from the champion on making unification. And now, like I said, my mandatory is chosen, instead of being in the IBF pool and using his earned right that he earned in the ring beating Jay Harris to fight the IBF world champion next, before anyone else is allowed to have a crack at my title, he opted to go for the WBA route. And that spins my head, really, because the fight with me is probably worth more than both of them fights put together. And it doesn't make sense to me. So I might say I'm avoided, but surely when I'm walking through the Red Sea and it parts like Moses, that shows. I've called out every name in the division. When I was with Frank at British level, there was a fight that made. I can't remember. I think we ended up fighting a Mexican. Mm-hmm. Every single person that was ranked at my weight and the weight above, that didn't have a record of like 3-17, was offered the fight with me for the British title. Every single one of them turned it down. We'll get that. It's a bigger fight in the future. It's a bigger fight in the future. It's a bigger fight in the future. Now I'm at world level. Mandatories are saying it's a bigger fight in the future. It's a bigger fight. It's crazy.
The future's now for them guys, though. So that's why I don't get. If you've worked all the way to get to the mandatory spot or whatever, surely that's the time. Well, moving from that, what's the crack with Paul Butler? Because that was going on back and forth for ages, and I thought, surely that can be made. No, why is that such a difficult fight to be made?
But it weren't going back and forth. This is what happened. Probellum, our mutual promoter, probably capitalised on the fact that they know that I'm a game fucker and I would go up 2 weights to fight, especially Paul Butler. Let's be very real. Probably one of the poorest world champions, point blank. Probably the poorest 2-weight world champion Britain's ever had. Genuinely. The fights, he's won them as well. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone else around it, because there's some people, that I have respect and I like, but let's be very real about things. Then he had one defence and got iced by Tete, who Maruti stopped.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, when we're talking about Sonny all does Sonny's run. But anyway, we're going back and forth for a bit. Probellum capitalised, put us both together. They ignored it. Media outlets, media channels. I haven't got massive followings. Might have like 10,000 followers on Twitter. Yeah, had Joe Gallagher on the phone ringing. Why are you asking about the Sonny Edwards Paul Butler fight? Delete that. Delete it. So, like, Let me just not get carried away about what I'm about to say. But yeah, that fight was never going back and forth. What happened was we got mentioned. I said I'll fight him. I'll go up 2 weights, vacate my IBF world title right now. Go up and beat you for that minor. Do you know what I mean? And maybe even come back down. I might even pay the sanction fees. You might be able to have the belt back. But I would go up and I would beat him. But it didn't go back and forth. They went silent for a couple of weeks and they did one interview, and the excuse. I don't even want to use the word excuse. The reason, the reason why he will not fight me isn't because he don't think he can beat me. It's not because he doesn't think the fight will sell. It's not because he doesn't think he's interested. The reason why it's and to quote him here, pathetic shout for me to suggest fighting the mighty two-time two-weight world champion Paul Butler is because he hits bags with my brother once a week. Bear in mind they're at a gym where it's all staggered and they're not even friends anyway. They don't train together. They don't like each other anyway. But let's be real. But yeah, it's a laughable shout. It's pathetic even is the word he used. Because he hits the bags with my brother maybe once, maybe twice a week. Trust me, there's not one thing my brother could tell me about boxing that I wouldn't already had in my head. But not just him. Everyone in between and everyone around. Because I believe in that much. So I would not ever be needing to be like, oh, Charlie, how's Paul been looking? Because I know he's not worth fucking lacing up my boots before I get in the ring, let alone fighting me. It's just that he managed to blag a world title. Casemiro would have knocked him out, everyone knows it. He posted a picture in a sauna where, bear in mind, the check weight was done that week. The check weight was done that week, Casemiro, and he was basically bang on. Not bang on the check weight, bang on the weight he was fighting at. But then because he posted a picture in a sauna or video in a vlog or whatever, someone sent it to the board. Someone reported it to the board. It weren't the board seen it on the thing and thought, oh, we've got to stop him from fighting because of X, Y, Z. Someone took the evidence and lodged a formal complaint with the board, knowing the British board's rules on saunas as it's their safety for their insurance. Every fighter up and down the country uses fucking saunas or hot baths. But someone with reason maybe to want Casemiro not fighting in that ring, I wonder who that could be. But anyway, a formal complaint was lodged to the board and he was pulled. He fought a 48-hour notice replacement opponent. It was something decent. But bear in mind, I was told by his dad that I'm a little muppet who just runs away, and maybe if Paul Butler didn't run away, maybe if Paul Butler ran away from Tete, he wouldn't have got iced in 3 rounds. That's what his dad said to me on Twitter. Literally, calling me a little runner and all of this stuff. But then he got in against Jonas Sultan, a 17-5 opponent who was 48 hours notice, and he literally ran away from him. Literally ran as many. A performance that I could be proud of. But in the same month of the same camp, your dad's telling me I'm the runner. But you're running away from the fight of me because you're a shitbag. But yeah, they weren't never going back and forth, and they weren't never near getting made because point blank period, Joe Gallagher would not put any of his fighters ever against me anyway. Point blank period, and especially not Paul Butler because he is useless.
At what point do you think? We've had this conversation with loads of people saying, what point do you think you'll get the respect you deserve as a world champion? Because when you won the belt, obviously you get criticised because you're a mover, maybe, or not a lot of power, but nobody's queuing up to fight you. So there's obviously that's the reason, because they don't want to be playing catch up to you for a whole fight. So do you think at some point people eventually just hold their hands up, or when they're forced into a fight with you, they'll go, you know what, fair enough?
I don't know, because Sandoval has spent 20 fights building up a ranking, getting to the IBF mandatory, and because if there was someone else there, do you think he would have chose to have 2 fights for world title rather than 1? See, if Gallagher was the IBF world champion and he was mandatory, would he be fighting him next? Why would you choose to have another fight to then fight a world title? If you think you're going to beat the world champion now? So I might not get plaudits on Twitter. But then again, I probably do. I get loads of nice things said about me, but because I always interact and antagonise the bad, people think I just get bad. Watch me today. I'll be real, watch me today. I come to these shows now and I feel love from everywhere. Literally every single different group of fans that had come to watch all the different fighters, I probably spoke to today. Asked for pictures, asked for things, speaking to me. I follow you on Twitter, your interviews are class. That's what I get. And in the division, I get every opponent fighting each other, would rather fight 2 world level fighters than fight the one Sonny Edwards. That's the reaction I get. So I get a lot of respect from that side. I don't need to convince small-minded individuals that only look at knockouts to validate. I don't need that. But when I get the fighters that, you know, Im and think is going to beat me, convincingly, clearly, and they're rubbing their hands like, finally, we're about to see something get knocked out.
Yeah.
When I beat them, so I'm talking your Martinez, I'm talking if you look at above the weight, or Nakatani, I'm talking if you look above the weight, Siscoret, obviously Chocolatito, Estrada, Bam Rodriguez, above that, Anuez, Donez, Casemiro's. I mean, when I start getting to them levels, and then the people that have been waiting for the last 6-7 years, waiting for the downfall, waiting to see me get knocked out, waiting for this step to be the one that's too much. And so when it's not, that's when I get it. And until I got a little bit of Maverick, but he wasn't a superstar. He was a world-level journeyman that didn't lose. Yeah. He would go to everyone else's corner of the world. No other champions wanted to face him. He had 11 world title fights, or 13 world title fights, won 11. One of them was lost against me. The other one was against Nonito Donaire on a cut after the 5th round, 1 point in it. But no unifications. Yet he fought me in York Hall to defend his world title, voluntary defence. So do you think he's a hard person to get in the ring? He's the fucking easiest person in the world. Martinez never did. Nakatani never did. Gallagher never did. The champions before that never did. And why not? But he's a fucking handful. And at 40 now, or 39, 40, whatever he is now, he would still be. Yeah. He would very much still be. So, yeah, like I said, I know how good I am. The people that spar me, the people that train me, the people that see me in the gym, the people that have been around me and seen the consistency, which I do not lack. I don't have one good performance. I have all just steady away. Everything happens. You could literally run my fight from first fight to last fight back. Yeah, close one eye so you can only see one of the opponents and think it's the same fight. Because it's not changed. No one's changed me. Maverick probably made me a little bit more, but then people are saying, oh, that fight looked one of the easiest from the outside. Because that's how I made it look.
But still nobody can crack the code that is Sonny Edwards in a boxing ring. Let's move on to a different vibe now. Speaking to Grant Smith, spoke to him in Cardiff the other week. Your gym has got an incredible, plethora amount of talent. Nico Levers, and he's got some brilliant support with him. Brilliant fighter. What does that do for you in the gym when you've seen all these young fighters? You've got Janae Boston coming in, and they're going to be looking up to you, the world champion in the gym. What's that like to be around that? And you all seem to get behind each other, go to all the boys' fights and stuff like that. It's good vibe. But what's it like being around them? You
got to remember when I first turned pro and went with Danny Vaughan, and when I come back from Marbella, I was Grant's only pro. Yeah. For a year, I was his only pro, or maybe a bit less than that. And then there was a few small hall fighters. Then Dalton came, my brother came, Lima Berry came, and it started again. But don't think that I'm not a fundamental part of the whole training setup. I'm like Grant's advisor, I guess. I'm there. I will train at 11. There'll be lads sparring at 12, sparring at 1. I'm still in the gym till 2:30. I'm doing the corners. Do you know what I mean? I'm there. Yeah. I'm absorbing boxing. I'm helping the lads. I'm talking to them. I'm having conversation. If they need a proper conversation, I'll give it to them. I can get in my sort of motivational speaker moment, especially when I've seen what you're doing now, because I've been there. Yeah. I've been 3-4-0, knowing you can fuck about, and the fights aren't that hard. And I've been there, but I also know their performances, they don't look good, that kick it back out of you, etc., etc. I've managed to spend 17 years in a pro ring, 17 years in a boxing ring. And in my one pro career, I managed to go 18-0 and win a world title before I've had a hiccup. Boxing's very hard. Boxing's very hard to do that. Great fighters, probably fighters more talented, stronger, fitter, better looking, train harder, all of the things in between than me have been beaten on the way up. Had that hiccup, had that step. And I'm young still, I'm 26. And I've taken proper fights. Yeah. And okay, I got put down twice. Switching off in easy fights, let's be real. Yeah. My big fights, I've never been put down. My proper hard fights, the killers, not put me down, because I've got a different mentality for them. I need, and the reason why I'm always shouting for big fights is without mental stimulation, I switch off, I get complacent, because I need someone that I believe's in my level. Yeah. Give me someone that I think's above my level, and watch what I do to him. Yeah. And watch what I do to him. If I'm getting in the ring scared, watch what I do to him.
I can't wait. I really do hope you get these big fights. I think a lot of the boxing world hope you get these big fights as well, for whether they want to see you win, want to see you lose, they want to see you in the big fights. Look, Sonny Edwards, thanks for giving Into Boxing some of your time. It's his first interview, hopefully many more to come. And yeah, good luck. Appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time.